Everybody, this is Dream. Today we're going to get into the DraftKings and FanDuel lineups. We have a small injury report today, not a whole lot, but we do have a couple guys that are going to definitely make or break the slate to change the potential of the slate. So with that, let's get into it. For the injury report, we have the Warriors, Curry and Wiggins are out. For the Raptors, Trenton Jr. is questionable. OG Anunoby, Achua, and Porter are all out. For the Timberwolves, Gobert and Russell are questionable, and Towns is out. For the Hornets, Smith Jr. is out. For the Nuggets, Porter Jr. is out. For the Wizards, Beal is questionable. Wright and Hakamara are out. For the Lakers, Davis is out. And LeBron is probable. And then for the Pistons, Cunningham is out. So we have a decent injury report here. Not a ton, which is nice. But the pricing is not super ideal on either site. Pricing is a little bit better on FanDuel than DraftKings for most players. Of course, there's a couple inverted situations as well, but overall, I think pricing is a little bit better over there than on FanDuel. Or sorry, on DraftKings. But I do like both slates pretty decently. There's enough value I think that are going to open up with injury situations. It's going to make it a viable slate. With that said, let's get into what I do like here on DraftKings. So we're going to start with some of the core plays here. We got Zach LaVine, who has been inconsistent lately, but his price point has also dropped quite a bit, and he rarely gets below 72 or 7,300, so I do like him in this nice plus matchup. Then we'll look at LeBron James. He's been playing really well lately, and he's gonna have all the minutes and stuff he can handle with Westbrook, or sorry, with Davis out, and I expect him to have a big game in this matchup against Washington, who's pretty weak and won't have anything to stop him. You should get a full complement of minutes as well, assuming he ends up playing. And then Thomas Bryant, who's just been extremely good when Davis has been out. I think he's only had like 4 or 5 games where he's played over 20 minutes when in that situation, but he's been really good in all of those spots, so he's in a good spot with this minimum price at $4,000. Then some other guys to take a look at here is LaMelo Ball. He's been playing really solid since he's come back, but his price is up. But I do expect him to have some more assists and rebounds in this game. Since he really didn't do that at the last game, but he should be able to get back to his more normal self in this matchup, and I expect him to have a big game here. Then we'll look at Jordan Poole. Now his price is kind of in a similar situation. It's a little bit overpriced, but we're just looking for guys that we know are going to score a good amount of fantasy points. So he's somebody that's going to be able to do that with all the guys out for the Warriors being Curry and Wiggins. He's going to be starting and have plenty of opportunity. Then we'll look at Russell Westbrook here. He's been playing really well the last few games. He obviously has big triple-double upside when he gets the minutes, and he should definitely get those here with Davis out. He should get more opportunity. He's had 2 triple-doubles in the last 4 games, so I expect him to have some 50 fantasy point upside, and he might be the make or break for some on the top roster of the night. Then we're going to look at Jamal Murray here for Denver Nuggets. He's been playing really solid for the most part lately, and I expect him to continue that in this game against Charlotte, who's not going to be able to do anything to stop him. Then we'll look at Pat Williams for the Chicago Bulls. Now, he's a good value option. Now, he's not somebody that typically gets you a big, like, 25 to 30 fantasy point game, but he does tend to be solid and is a good salary saver if you need to save some money. Then DeMar DeRozan, he looks like he's in a really good spot here against Minnesota. He's been a little bit up and down lately, but he's got big game potential, and he's been playing pretty consistent for the most part throughout the season. Kyle Anderson for Minnesota looks interesting today. I don't love the matchup, but he is a viable, cheaper option considering the fact he's been playing well with Karl Towns out, and so I expect him to continue to play that way. Then other center we'll look at is Nikola Vucevic. Now he's been interesting lately because he's been playing up and down, but he's been having some really big games, and he definitely has that capability. Just a matter of matchups and stuff like that. But he has been wildly inconsistent. And then the other guy to take a look at here is Naz Reid. Now this is completely dependent on the fact that if Towns and Gobert are both out. Gobert is questionable currently, and Towns is out. So, but it really depends on that. But Naz Reid and Thomas Bryant both are pretty cheap here on DraftKings, where they're not on FanDuel, where they're much more expensive. So they're really only viable over here. unless you just really like them. But overall, that's what I have for DraftKings. Let's go and get over to FanDuel and take a look there. So my favorite core play over here on FanDuel is actually Nicholas Claxton. He's a little bit too cheap for his potential in this game. He's been playing well this season, and I like what he's doing. And he's in a good spot to have a good game against Detroit. But there's just not a lot at center because of pricing. Both Thomas Bryant and Nas Reed are much more expensive over here. $6,000 for Nas, and Bryant is 5,800. So it's going to be a lot harder to want to roster those guys, especially when you have a similar priced player, Nicholas Claxton, which you know will probably get into the range that you need. But for other players, we're going to look at LaMelo Ball. For the Charlotte Hornets, he's been playing pretty solid lately. It's a little bit of a tough matchup against Denver, but he's been playing good, and I think he's going to break through the 40 fantasy point game today. Jordan Poole for the Warriors, he's been playing solid, but his price is a little bit better here on FanDuel than it is on DraftKings, and he's going to have opportunity to have big games with Curry and Wiggins out, and so I expect him to have a bigger game today. Then Jamal Murray for the Nuggets. He just looks like he's in a really good spot. Assuming he ends up playing, he should be good to go. He's probable today, and I expect him to play well and have a really solid game in this nice plus matchup. Then Zach LaVine for the Bulls against Minnesota. He's been playing solid lately. He's had a couple off games, though, but overall he has big-time upside, and his price points dropped, and so that's one of the main reasons I like him in a nice plus matchup. And then Kyrie Irving, he looks interesting today here on FanDuel. He's been playing pretty consistent lately, and his price is pretty decent here on FanDuel, so I do like him as a good option to get in the mid-40s. He obviously has massive upside sometimes, and he had a big game winner the other day, so hopefully he can keep that stuff up. Kyle Anderson does look interesting today for Minnesota. I don't love him because of his price, but he has been viable lately, especially with Towns out, and as long as he stays out, then he's somebody you have to consider. Royce O'Neal, I don't love today, but his price point has dropped, and so he makes him viable, especially coming back from injury. He should be able to get full complement of minutes, and he definitely has positive upside in this matchup, especially with the situation there. And then DeMar DeRozan for the Bulls as well. He's just been playing really solid lately. He's had a couple off games, but for the most part, he's played well, and this is a nice plus matchup for him, and that makes him super viable here. So with that said, let's get into my team picks. I have the Nets over the Pistons. I have the Raptors over the Warriors, the Bulls over the Timberwolves, the Nuggets over the Hornets, and the Wizards over the Lakers. So overall, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, and have a nice day, guys.